We're to start this thing up in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies. We're Nerd is a New Bully. I'm your host Leroy, aka the studio formerly known as Fox Studios. With my co-host.
This is Eli, the Grindcore Jedi, I guess.
There we go. That is a thing. We just made a trademark LLC.
Mm-hmm.
Trademark.
That's one of my Twitter thingies.
Is it?
I'm on the Twitter that I barely use. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get you on Twitter for 3 years. All of a sudden, now you have like alternate accounts and
Twitter
troll accounts. Okay.
At Thrash Jaws, I'm still Thrash Jaws. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it says that when you got to describe yourself or whatever, I think I got Grindcore Jedi.
Oh, is that one of those like personality tests, like describe me in 3 movies or some shit?
Yeah, whatever. It's like the bio thing where it says your heading or some shit.
Okay,
so,
I guess that's good first date conversation. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Hey, Eli, guess what?
What is it?
We're recording.
We are recording.
We've been having some technical difficulties in the year of 2020. 2020 has been a rough year for us. Like podcast wise, but we're starting to get our shit together. Eventually, we're gonna figure this thing out, So let's go ahead and get to it. Let's start with some sad news to begin with. Like I said, it's like the first celebrity death of 2020, and for all of you that know, yes, Rocky Johnson has passed. For those who don't know who Rocky Johnson is, he was a WWF superstar back in the 70s, and also the father of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The most electrifying man in sports entertainment history, or whatever you want to call it. The biggest Black Adam, basically. You know, if you haven't been living on the Rock, you know who the Rock is. So
The Rundown.
Yeah, classic movie. Definitely watch that.
The Walking Tall remake.
That was an underrated movie.
It was, and they race swapped that character, and no one gave a shit.
But that was before we were woke. That's why we can get away with shit like that. So. Yeah, Rocky Johnson passed. I didn't look at why he didn't. I think The Rock actually made a statement today how he passed and, what he actually had when he passed, like that. Said he went peacefully, and that was a good thing about it. Funny thing is, The Rock actually played his dad on the 70s show. Remember the 70s show? That sitcom?
Yeah, I don't remember that episode, though.
Yeah, that episode, like, they went to the WWF wrestling venue, and they met Rocky Johnson, who was The Rock, and he was saying shit like, one day my son will be me, and he'll be the most electrifying man in sports, some shit like that, whatever like that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny. Rock, of course, gets his name from his dad. Not only his dad, but also his granddad also. He's a wrestling prodigy, because his dad, when he first started wrestling, his name was Rocky Maivia, he used to be with the Nation of Domination, like the like a fake Nation of Islam wrestling group.
You're going mad deep.
Yeah, nobody knows this shit? I guess so. I don't follow wrestling, but I remember the Nation of Domination. Farouk and all the guys like that. But anyway, they were like some Nation of Islam type wrestling stuff like that. Rocky Maivia was with them. He got his name from his dad, The Rock, and then his grandfather name was Peter Maivia, his grandfather on his mom's side, So Rocky Maivia, so that's his whole thing. Reason I'm talking about that because Rock actually, since Rock is in everything, guess what, Eli? He's not in enough stuff. So he's actually coming out with more stuff. Nigga. This fall, The Rock has a TV show on NBC coming out.
Is it a sitcom?
It is a sitcom.
With a laugh track and everything?
Now that I don't know. It may or may not have a laugh track. It may be. Okay, remember Young Sheldon? It's real popular?
Yeah.
So they're doing a Young Rock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like they did Everybody Hates Chris, where Chris Rock was young telling his life story. The Rock is doing the same thing. So he's going to, I guess, cast a teenager. I guess he's going to narrate his life or some shit like that. Okay. Apparently he had some kind of wild-ass life. Like he lived in Hawaii and did some shit. He wanted to be a country singer in Nashville, and he wanted to, I don't know, be an astronaut or some shit, or a stand-up comedian. I don't know. Rock said he did some stupid shit, so we'll figure that out in this role. I'm pretty sure like I said, he said his mom was, got arrested for embezzlement or some shit. Not his mom, but his grandmom or some shit like that. I don't know. He had a weird life. The Rock is gonna talk about that in his show. So he was basically on Instagram just plugging his show the whole time. Not only that, but he's also playing Black Adam too. So
yeah,
a lot of shit going on. And I don't think he's in Fast and the Furious anymore. Vin Diesel said it's not enough room in them for, biracial, bald head, muscle bound dudes. So, one gotta go. So yeah. So rest in peace to Rocky Johnson.
Well, since while we're on celebrity deaths, and it got cut off from last week's episode, I would like to do a shout out to Neil Peart.
Mhm.
Rest in peace, Neil Peart, drummer for Rush, one of the greatest drummers of all time. I know you're not familiar with them, but I'm sure you've heard of their songs. Rush is one of the nerdiest bands ever. They wrote concept albums about fantasy and space civil wars and shit. Nerds back in like the 70s and 80s loved Rush. They even have I read an article the other day that Marvel, one of the Defenders comics in the 70s, was dedicated to the band and even used their lyrics and some of the dialogue. And what did Doctor Strange turned into Red something? Red. He got transformed into this evil character named Red something. I can't remember the name, but it was based off of the 2112 Rush album, The Priests, in the 2112 song, which is like a 20-minute long song about this space federation and this galactic civil war and this ultra-fascist planetary system where music and art is outlawed because it promotes free thought, and free thought leads to war and conflict. Very nerdy sci-fi shit. And Neil Peart wrote the lyrics, the drummer. So Neil Peart and me, because I play drums, he's been one of my inspirations. Most drummers, he's like a god to most drummers. And in most pop music, rock music, it's always the guitarists or the vocalists that get all the attention. But he was one of the few drummers that got the spotlight. So rest in peace to Neil Peart, drummer of Rush. Rush, one of the geekiest, nerdiest bands of all time. Oh, yeah. And that one of the Guitar Hero games, Guitar Hero, one of the levels to one of those games, you had to play the whole 2112 song, the whole 20 minutes of it to get past to the next level.
That'd be like a final boss fight or some shit on that.
It was like a final level for one. You had to get to the next stage. You had to beat that song. You had to play through the whole song, and each stage as you passed had references to that album. Like you went into the cave where you found the guitar. You went into the temple of the priests of Spherix, and I'm going deep into Rush lore, but but like I said, Rush, nerdiest band of all time. I'm sure you've heard Tom Sawyer and Limelight and Fly By Night, and
we
had a lot of
podcast episode last week. So that's for those that don't know why we did that. That's because we actually gave a tribute to Neil Peart on the last episode, but it got cut off for.
Yeah,
we're not pointing fingers.
Yeah. So again, I'm still feeling it. This one hurts. He's basically a legend, and that's without him. Rush is done now. Rush is no longer a band anymore because you can't replace Neil Peart. So yeah, rest in peace to the legend, the god, Neil Peart, best drummer ever. So
rest in peace. Yeah. Yeah, I forget that rock bands can play like in their 60s and 70s shit like that. Rappers don't do that. Once they hit 30, 35, they retire. They're done.
Yeah, well, not yet. How old are Run DMC?
In their 60s, but one of them's dead. So
yeah, but he got shot, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, one of them's a preacher. Then he not preaching. Then he became a reality star.
Yeah,
the other one writes comics. So
and one of the Sugar Hill Gang guys died too, like last few weeks ago, wasn't it?
Did it? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So
we don't in rap we don't think too fondly of the Sugar Hill Gang because they stole most of their raps.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so
but Grandmaster Flash is still touring, isn't he?
I'm sure he is.
Furious Five. Yeah, Furious Five still do shit. So, and they're like one of the originators, so they got to be getting old.
Okay, so I guess there's some Dougie Fresh is still out there.
Yeah, how old is
Dougie Fresh comes to Mississippi like all the time. Like we're sick of seeing him.
Yeah, and Africa Bambaataa and. Dougie Fresh would be one.
Okay.
Biz Markie. What's he been doing lately? Anything?
No idea. I'm pretty sure he's touring somewhere. I'm pretty sure I can call Biz Markie and get him down here if I wanted to. Hey, you want to perform? Sure. Oh shit. So yeah. Before we move on, let's just Eli. I might need some advice from you.
All right.
Okay. So I was in the grocery store and I saw this flyer out that in our music hall, like our opera house or our playhouse or something like that downtown, the Mississippi Symphony Orchestra, whatever they call themselves, are doing a Star Wars orchestra night.
No shit.
And they're gonna be playing this the musical score of John Williams' score from like episode 1 to episode 8. I don't think they're gonna do 9 because I don't think that sound they haven't learned it yet, which I'm cool with that. But from 1 to 8, they're just gonna play the whole night of just Star Wars music, like but in a live orchestra band. I'm just like, well, hell yeah, I want to see that. So
yes.
But my question is, what do I wear to that? I mean, because it's basically an opera house. They usually go there to, do plays and shit like that. So do I show up?
So did you want to dress up in your stormtrooper gear?
And that's what I'm wondering. Do I cosplay as Darth Vader? Do I wear my Sith Happens t-shirt? Is it a black tie event? What do I do? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question because I've heard they've had those around here too. I never went to them, but yeah, they are at like the opera houses and
right.
The bougie music halls that I've never been to.
Right, that's exactly what it's downtown and in a nice area, so you just can't just dress up like anything.
Do I need like a tux and a monocle with a little watch?
After they finish playing, Duel of Fates, dun, 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 dun,
yeah,
brother.
Yeah, with the little binoculars on the stick or whatever.
Right. I'll bring you back the playbill and show it when it's done. It's 2 weeks from now, so I'll let you know how it goes. Let's see. I guess we can just move back to the actual podcast. Quit fucking around.
All right.
Yeah. We've been lollygagging too long. So let's just jump into it. So, yeah, this is where the part of the podcast where we talk about the box office numbers. And like I said, it's January, where it's usually like a dumping ground for movies. But I just go ahead and just say what's been going on so far. So, Eli, give it to me. What is the number 1 movie of the week?
I was heard it was your boy or your boys.
My boy, yeah.
Finally back on top. Is he back?
He's back. Big Willie style.
Return of the Mac?
Right. Well, that's another guy. But yeah, Big Willie style. This is get jiggy with it.
Yeah. The Millennium has returned.
Millennium. Yep, we're here. And Martin Lawrence, Big Mama, is back. So Bad Boys for Life topped the number 1. It's not a Disney movie. It's a Sony movie that wasn't helped made by Disney. So good job for them.
Yeah.
So and yes, I did see it.
Oh yeah?
Should I give a review?
Do it.
Might as well. All right. So yes, I'm gonna talk about the movie. I'm just gonna talk about just base movie. Not gonna do spoilers or anything like that. So if you want to watch the movie, that's fine. Now, like I said, this is Bad Boys. Believe it or not, contrary to popular belief, I'm actually not really a fan of this franchise. Like, I thought they were okay. Like I said, I felt like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith in the other 2 movies, I felt like they didn't know which role one was going to play. I know they say one guy is a badass and the other guy is a cool conqueror. It's basically like, a younger version of Lethal Weapon. It's basically that thing. But they pretty much just play the same guy. They're both trying to be comedians. They're both trying to not be the straight man. They're trying to one-up each other, and they kind of just come off like one note. And on top of that, Michael Bay is directing it. So that just makes it even worse. I mean, the first movie was okay. But that first movie was actually Michael Bay's first movie. So that actually made his career. But the second movie was like in the mid-2000s where Michael Bay was at his Michael Bayness. So all the shit you hate about Michael Bay, it was just Bay at his Bayness. And everybody else loved it. Everybody else came out like, oh, this is the greatest movie ever. I love Bad Boys 2. I'm going to watch the movie 3-4 times. And it's like, I can't sit through that shit again. I just can't. Sorry. It was just too much for me. So that being said, we're talking about a movie 17 years after the second movie was made. Now, normally that means that the movie will completely fail because movies being made after that long of a gap just never work. Almost never work. This, on the other hand, Eli, did work.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it worked. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go on a limb and say this. This is probably the best movie of the franchise.
Wow.
I think so. I'm going to tell you why. Now,
was there a Bad Boys 3?
This is Bad Boys 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I know it says Bad Boys 4 Life, so you're thinking like, well, shouldn't it be the 4th movie? Like, no.
Yeah, I guess maybe. I thought I missed one.
I mean, that would be better marketing, Yeah. But basically what the movie is that I feel like, because here's the thing, they're no longer boys. Both of them are 50 plus in this movie. And the funny thing is, they keep making jokes about that. They make it painfully obviously dudes are past their prime. Everybody lets them know there's like a younger group of police officers that they keep, going back and forth with, like them versus the millennials and shit like that. basically going crimes and the shit that they used to do in the old movies. They realize they can't do that stuff anymore. And I feel like that since Will and Martin are more comfortable in their roles now, they don't feel like they're competing anymore. They feel different. They actually feel like the roles they were designed to play now. Like, instead of both of them trying to be the funny guy badass, Will Smith is wriggling himself to the badass. He'll say some quips every now and then, some funny one-liners, shit like that. But he's not trying to overtake the movie, trying to out Martin Lawrence. So he's the badass, and Martin Lawrence is there for the jokes. He'll do some badass shit every now and then. But like I said, Martin Lawrence is way past his prime in these movies. At least Will Smith kind of looks like he can do this shit, but you can tell he's a step slower. Martin Lawrence look like he doesn't look believable in shit at all. He actually lost a lot of weight for this movie, but you can tell that he's still not in action movie dude shape. In fact, I may have to watch the movie again, but it's a lot of scenes of Martin Lawrence from the chest up or like from the stomach up where you really don't even see him walking that much. And it's clearly in some of these scenes there are CGI stuntmen with their face over these guys. Because there's no way Martin Lawrence can move that fast. So that's just me. So like I said, they go out they go make a point to point out that so they have different personalities. They feel like different people in these movies instead of just the character the same guy. The movie is not directed by Michael Bay this time. But
no shit.
Yeah, but if I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't know that. Because there are several shots in the movie that straight up, are ripoffs or callbacks or sendbacks to the old movies. Like I remember they're from the old movies like that. But here's the thing. You know how I kept saying like the thing you want to always associate Michael Bay's name with is bombastic. So like it was just over excess. Like Bad Boys 2 was just too much for me. I think it was just too much. It was just throwing too much shit at you. This movie feels dialed back, where they don't feel like they're superhuman. They don't feel like they're bulletproof like that. They feel like the stakes are mainly because they're slower. They're slower and they're older and they realize they're past their prime. They can't do the shit they used to do. So the stakes do feel higher for them. Also, there are some scenes, there are some parts in the movie where this is actually the most serious of the Bad Boys movies. There are actually some serious dramatic scenes in here. To actually, catch your attention like, oh shit, I didn't expect that to happen. You don't expect that shit in a Bad Boys movie. Bad Boy movies, since they all been directed by Michael Bay, like every other Michael Bay movie, are supposed to feel like 2-hour music videos. This felt like a movie. Like they had, conflict, drama, arguments between themselves. They never argue between themselves. Whenever they did argue with themselves in the past, it was always like jokey jokes and shit like that. This one actually had arguments like, oh damn, are they gonna recover from this argument they just had? They're supposed to be brothers, but that stuff happens in the movie. So, like I said, I'm not gonna give away. And there was about 3 shocking moments in the movie that I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. So overall, it came out again. Like I said, it's not a run out and go see movie. It's not gonna win Oscar or shit like that. I'm not gonna win Best Actor. I'm just saying that if you want to go see a good, fun action movie, you can do worse. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4 out of 5.
No shit.
Yeah.
You know what? I never really minded the Bad Boys movies.
I mean, like I said, they were okay, but I feel like they were forgettable.
Yeah.
Like every other Michael Bay movie.
They came out. Well, at least the first one came out before my hate affair with Will Smith started.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. The first movie, Will Smith wasn't the draw. He wasn't the first name on the marquee. Martin Lawrence was. Martin Lawrence was the biggest star back then.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he was the leading guy in the movie. And matter of fact, they didn't even want Will Smith. He had to talk the studio into getting Will Smith. Matter of fact, this ain't supposed to be a Martin Lawrence Will Smith movie at all. The original Bad Boy script actually had Dana Carvey and John Lovitz in it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, but since something happened, they couldn't do it. That's when he decided to get Martin Lawrence, and he just like, you just find us another guy. Who like, well, get Will Smith, even though they didn't want him. Because like I said, at the time, he was just another rapper trying to break into acting. Back then, every rapper was trying to break into acting. You had Ice Cube, Ice-T, Queen Latifah, LL Cool J, Tupac.
Oh, damn. Just imagine if Ice-T or Ice Cube was in this.
Ooh, that actually would have been a good movie.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because they can pull that shit off,
Yeah.
But I think because
I watched Trespass not too long ago, and I still liked it.
But I guess what they were trying to do, because like I said, if they were trying to cast like Dana Carvey and John Lovitz, I guess they were trying to cast comedians in the role,
Yeah.
So
it was supposed to be like a buddy comedy cop flick.
Yeah, Ice-T is a little bit too hardcore for that type of shit.
Yeah. Remember because Ice-T won't do shit. Remember in Tank Girl, The movie Tank Girl.
Was he in that?
Yeah, he was one of the kangaroos. You know,
I didn't make it past the first 10 minutes of Tank Girl. Sorry.
Well, in Tank Girl is Booga, the mutant kangaroo, and there's a whole crew of them, and Ice-T is one of them. Now, at one point in the movie, the kangaroos do this like ritual dance, and they get up and start dancing all goofy. And Ice-T is the only one who ain't dancing. He's just sitting there. You can just tell, I ain't doing this shit. You put me in all this makeup and prosthetics. I ain't dancing around like a fucking dumbass.
Like he just did New Jack City. He's not going to do this shit. So.
Yeah, I ain't dancing around in no circle like a.
So that's my thing. But yeah, if they had those acts, the movie would have had a completely different tone to it. So yeah, I think, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say this: the ending of a movie does set up a sequel.
Oh, no shit.
And they've already greenlit Bad Boys 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So before this
movie that one would
came
be
out.
Bad Boys Forever with the number 4.
That would be too confusing, but that would make sense because they wasted the 4 life on this.
But it ain't a 4 though.
That's true. Maybe you know what I just realized, Eli. Okay, back in the day, like I said, when we were growing up, it was 3 and out. George Lucas wrote the rules for all this shit. He wrote the Holy Bible. 3 and out. Mm-hmm. You write through movies, get the fuck out. That shit is out the window now. There's no such thing as a trilogy anymore. Fast and the Furious killed that shit. They're like on 8, 9. So like they're like, why make 3? Why stop at 3? Keep this shit going. You know. So that and it very. I'm comparing it to Fast and the Furious, but it does. And one of the reasons I think this does feel like a probably the best movie of the series because I feel like they're doing something different. I feel like they're shaking up the formula for the first 2 movies and going to a completely different formula. And I think if they can keep going with that formula, this franchise has found life in it. We might see a bunch of bad ones. We'll see how it goes, you know. So they're not gonna stop at 3. It's not a trilogy. They're gonna keep cranking these movies out as long as these movies keep making money. But Martin Lawrence, there's no way he don't even look believable in this shit now. So I don't see how he's gonna look believable in this shit 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Now, did Willie record a new song for this shit?
No, he didn't. I'm pissed about that. But the last Will Smith movie I saw, and I didn't review this, was Aladdin. Now I shouldn't talk about Aladdin because we're kind of going past.
What about that one movie you saw where he's like the young he fights his younger self that just came out?
Gemini Man, yeah. Yeah, no song for that one either. That's why Will Smith movies aren't making money like they used to because he don't make music for them anymore. But
yeah, Jim West Desperado. You don't want
right.
nada.
That was the big thing right there.
That shit don't rhyme.
But he made it sound good, so you know. But for Aladdin, he did record music for Aladdin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to the song at the end of like when the credits were rolling. I was like, hey, Will Smith got a song, and guess what? $1 billion. Will Smith highest grossing movie of all time. So just make a fucking song with every album. I mean, with every movie. How hard is that, Will Smith? You want to make money, don't you?
Oh. I'm sure he does.
So yeah, but this looks like honestly, I think this movie has almost outgrossed all the other Bad Boys movies also. So it's gonna eventually be the highest grossing Bad Boys movie so far. So yeah, part 4 is inevitable. So yeah, let's keep going past that. Let's see what else we got. We got number 2, Doolittle. Ooh, first week 22 million. Yeah.
Oh, that's the Robert Downey Jr. movie?
Yeah, not the Eddie Murphy one. Yeah, the Robert Downey Jr. one, and Doolittle was named correctly. Yeah. I don't know. I'm hearing the buzz about
so that there's no doctor on the beginning of it.
No doctor. It's just
Doolittle. So this is the gritty reboot,
right?
Like Man of Steel,
right? Because that's what we need.
Knight, Doolittle.
Now I thought this was a Disney movie. This is Universal Pictures. I'm confused. So,
shit!
Disney can't give him any money.
Oh man,
I don't know. And I heard he's a dragon in it, but I don't give a fuck about Doolittle. I guess it's hard for these actors outside of Marvel. I'm just saying, it's a cold world out there. Don't worry, he'll be revealed to be a Skrull 5 years from now. Everybody, calm down.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, 1917, still hanging in there. I'm pretty sure it's gonna win Oscars left and right when the Oscars come out. Number 4, Jumanji: The Next Level, still hanging in there. Number 5, Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, still in there.
Cool.
Fifth
Did it
week.
reach $1 billion yet?
Oh yeah, it reached $1 billion, but it's like barely. It's like
Okay.
yeah, $1 billion. Whatever.
Well, it did its job.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think it was gonna reach $1 billion.
I mean, it did. I mean, I knew it was gonna reach $1 billion, but it's like let me click it. Let me see. I mean, it did it, but it's like barely over $1 billion.
Yeah.
In its fifth week, so it's just like
but still, now, after Solo, I mean, I was questioning it, and
I don't know. We could talk about Star Wars. We talked about it at the ass so much, so we'll wait till something crazy happens. Well, I guess we can talk about it briefly. George Lucas took a picture with Baby Yoda. Boom. We talked about it. Okay. Number 6.
Jesus holding a lamb, right?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Eli. That pic to me was kind of emotional. I thought so. I felt the emotion from the pic. I mean, technically, if you want to look at it metaphorically or symbolically, he's holding his grandbaby.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. I mean, like Star Wars is his baby.
That is true.
Yeah, and now like Jon Favreau and that other guy, whatever his name is, they started a new thing. They
Filoni?
Yeah, that guy. Okay,
yeah.
So like they started, well, not the Mandalorian, but it's another showrunner they have that's helping out Jon Favreau. He is not him. It's not just him. It's him and another guy. But like I said, he's the same. Well, whoever the same guy that did Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars, he's the same guy doing Mandalorian. So it's all that shit is connected.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's the new blood, the new generation. And, George Lucas basically looking at like, even though I didn't have a hand in making Baby Yoda, I had a hand in making Baby Yoda. So it was like, he's the granddaddy.
Well, Filoni was his prodigy.
That guy. Yeah.
Dave Filoni. Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but that's the guy I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah. He was George Lucas's Padawan.
Basically. Yeah. So I mean, all they said, no matter what you think of Star Wars state right now, George Lucas is still the granddaddy of all this shit. And you know what, Eli? I've come to accept the state that Star Wars is in. Star Wars has to move on from what George Lucas said. Like, it's not going to feel like George Lucas, and it shouldn't feel like George Lucas. No, it has to move on. It has to become its own thing now if it's going to survive.
Yeah, that was the lesson of The Last Jedi.
Yeah, and I feel
People
like
ain't ready for that shit yet.
Right, and that's the key. Last Jedi has so many fucking nuggets in there. They're dropping so many jewels in that movie that people just ignore.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I could not talk about this shit for the past 2 years because every time I did, that movie sucks. You're a dumbass. Fuck you.
Just give it time, Eli. Just give it time. We're going to look back at Last Jedi and be like, damn, we really should have looked at that. We took the movie for granted.
Luke's a pussy. He didn't fucking chop off the Empire's head with his dick. Fuck that movie. That's all they wanted to see was Luke kick ass. And
I mean, for some reason, that my favorite scene in that movie was Kylo Ren, just when he was just saying like, "Let the past die." Now, looking back at it, I realized that everything he was saying was full of shit because he was just saying to Rey whatever he needed to say to get her to join him, but he was making sense. And the way Adam Driver was just acting the scene was just, no, you're still holding on. I was like, I feel like you're on the dark side. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a nudge to fandom too. I mean, those kids in the stable talking about Luke Skywalker, the legend of Luke Skywalker. That's us as kids playing with our fucking toys. Okay, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but yeah, that's what that's about. I saw that shit the first fucking viewing, and I was like, damn, this is deep. And I couldn't wait to talk about it. And then next thing you know, everyone, fuck that shit. Reuben Johnson, fucking piece of shit. And
oh well. Yeah. He didn't give a shit. He's crying. He's got to go to the Oscar go to the Oscars and win some Oscars.
Yeah, so he's nominated for shit.
He'll be fine. Yeah. I wonder what his speech is going to be. I want to thank Star Wars fans. Number 6, Just Mercy, the movie that my mom really wanted to see.
I don't know what that is again.
The Michael B. Jordan movie.
Oh, yeah. Just in time for MLK.
Oh, yeah. It is next week for MLK. The reason I didn't say anything about that because in Mississippi, they don't celebrate Martin Luther King birthday. They actually call it Robert E. Lee Day. The Confederate general.
Man.
So, but they'll have some good Robert E. Lee sales, that day.
What's that scene in Django where Schultz is like, if you guys would like to go to a more enlightened part of the country.
Right.
Follow the North Star.
Oh man, but yeah, Just Mercy came out. I don't really know what it's about. I know it's Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. My mom, like I said, my mom fell asleep on Star Wars, but this is the movie she really wanted to see. She saw it on her own, called me about it, gave me back about 10 texts back and forth about how good this movie is. Oh, thank Michael B. Jordan. He's such a talented actor. I'm sure. Hopefully, he kept his shirt on in this movie. I don't know. What do we have here? Number 7, Little Women. Number 8, Knives Out. Like I said, Ryan Johnson. He's destroying Hollywood. Number 9, Like a Boss. I think you told me about what that movie is. I completely forgot. No, you didn't tell me what that movie is about. That movie is a Tiffany Haddish, Rose Byrne, and Selma Hayek movie.
That looks like shit.
They said it's shit.
Yeah, it looked like shit.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is not very kind to that movie.
Yeah.
And number 10, Frozen 2. So, like I said, so Disney hasn't just dominated the market yet. 'Cause like I said, 2019 was Disney's year. I read some kind of crazy report that they might have accounted for 80% of Hollywood's budget last year. Yeah. Like their gross or some dumb number like that. But they haven't got started yet. But don't worry, when they get started, they're gonna get started. So that's pretty much it from there. Shoot, what else? When can we go with that one? Before we move on, can I talk about The Crisis?
Go ahead.
I guess I will talk about The Crisis.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. Sorry.
It's cool. It's cool. Like I said, you saw the
figured I should have because I've been cooped up all fucking like the last 2 weeks, not doing shit.
I don't know how you held off, Eli. As soon as that thing was uploaded, I was like the midnight. I was there.
I missed it. I wasn't paying attention.
But have you heard anything about it?
No.
Okay, so do you mind if I spoil it?
I don't care. I read the book, so what are you gonna do?
Okay, my fault. I forgot you're a purist.
I know the story.
You're a purist. You know the source material.
Yeah, I'm
a filthy casual. I know.
I know the Joker ain't in it.
But guess who is in it?
Okay, who?
Ezra Miller.
Oh, I did hear about that. That's right. Yeah.
But see, the thing was, that was spoiled for me before I could watch it because, like I said, I couldn't watch it live. So I had to wait for the CW app to upload, which didn't upload till midnight. So by the time I went on social media, on Twitter and Facebook, it was trending. Ezra Miller. I'm like, oh, fuck. Damn, I wanted to see that live to see what that situation would have felt like. So it was funny, the interaction, like Ezra Miller, because basically, to give you a background on what happened was, they got trapped, in the last episode, they got trapped in the Venture Zone and like limbo or some shit like that. And the only way they can get back to where they need to go through the Speed Force. It went to the Speed Force. That's where he saw Ezra Miller's Flash. And they just kind of like bumped into each other like, wait, what you doing here? Like, what you doing here? Like, and Ezra Miller looked at him like, who are you? You're like, well, I'm the Flash. And then he looks at you like, the Flash? Huh. That's a cool name. So Ezra Miller actually gets his name from the CW Flash. Because they never called him that in Justice League.
I guess. I don't recall that either, yeah.
Yeah, but most of them never got called by their names anyway, so I thought that was pretty cool right there. Just them interacting with each other, the funny banner, oh, I'm Barry, how you doing, It kind of confirms my suspicion that no matter, like, there is a multiverse, but there's only one Speed Force, so every speedster in the DC multiverse only access one area. I know that doesn't mean shit, but it makes me feel better. I'm happy with that. Satisfy my brain. So that was cool. Ali, like we said, he dies, becomes a Spectre. So he does become the Spectre. He fights the Anti-Monitor. They fight.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So he does become the Spectre. He gets all powerful shit like that. Fights the Anti-Monitor. They fight, reboot the universe. And when they reboot the universe, so you remember how they had all these Earths and shit, like Supergirl over here, Black Lantern's over there. Nope. Now they consolidated one Earth, just like in the comic. Okay. It's just like you remember. So now there's one, but there's still a multiverse. So all the CW shows are on one Earth now. So now Supergirl, instead of hopping over to another universe to go face her, she's just across town. He can just walk over there, stuff like that. And matter of fact, they were talking to people that they saying it's been like the whole time. For instance, there's a cameo from Marv Wolfman. Now, for everybody who's not Eli, that's not a purist, I'll let you know who Marv Wolfman is. Marv Wolfman is the original writer of the Crisis on Infinite Earth comics. So he shows up. And he basically sees Supergirl and Flash, fighting. When I'm fighting a bad guy, whatever like that. And he just walks up to him like, yeah, sign this, make it out to Mars like that. And we're like, both of us? Because, they say on different Earths. They're like, yeah, I know you guys. You guys been fighting together like forever. Sometimes you have a Green Lantern. Sometimes you have a Legend of Tomorrow here and too. Then they're like, okay, so basically the universe has been rebooted. Things have been changed. We don't know how much stuff has changed, but there are changes in there we don't know. Now, the comment I made on Facebook that had people confused when I said Marv Wolfman, you're no Stan Lee, this is what I meant. I had nothing to do with talking about Marv Wolfman's writing credentials versus Stan Lee writing credentials, because I'm going to just say this, Marv Wolfman can write Stan Lee under a table. That's just what it is. It's completely different era, so it was more required of him than that. But that's not what I was talking about. What I was talking about was the cameos. Because the thing is, when Stan Lee, even if you don't know he writes comics, when he's on screen, he demands the screen. He demands screen presence. Like he chews scenery. Like it doesn't matter who's on the screen with him. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Lou Ferrigno, whatever. You're like, hey, that's Stan Lee. He sticks out. Marv Wolf, on the other hand, as for his acting abilities, he's a great comic writer. Like,
well, I don't even know what the guy looks like. So
that's the thing. Like, this the thing when I watched him. I like, okay, it's an old guy walking up to Flash Supergirl. I didn't think twice about it. But when he started talking, I was like, damn, whoever this old guy is, he is a terrible actor. Who the fuck is he? He basically sounded like he was in a porno. Hello, Supergirl. Hello, Flash. Thank you for saving today. I'm like, what the fuck, Mark? Make this out to Marv Wolfman.
Need your pipes cleaned?
Like, I hope this is the... So we just spoke Rule 34 into existence. Marv Wolfman 34 with Supergirl. So yeah, so that's what I was talking about. Like, Marv Wolfman is a terrible actor. That's why we took Stan for credit. I mean, took Stan for I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, but I guess you can't expect comic book writers to be great actors. And then I actually looked up some of Stan Lee's old interviews. He actually is a trained actor. Like, that's some shit he just naturally, I mean, it is some shit he naturally did, but yes, he is a trained actor. He always studied acting. He wanted to be an actor / comic writer. That's why he was so natural on screen, because basically the screen presence Stan Lee took for granted. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. So the presence he had on screen, that's why he was on there. He knew, because basically Stan Lee was a persona for him. He was put on a persona, where Marv Wolfman was just him. You could tell he's never acted before. So that's the only thing I meant with that. Not comparing them, their works of art or anything like that. Just cameos. Now, other than Stan Lee, I started thinking about it. What other comic writer actually had a really good cameo? And you know who I thought of? Besides Stan Lee? Frank Miller.
Oh, you're talking about in Sin City where he played the priest?
He played the priest. I hope it was worth it for you and that whore. And then he gets shot in the fucking face.
Yep.
He was also in RoboCop 2. I think he played like
worth
a drug
killing
doctor.
for, worth dying for. What does he say? Amen. Yeah.
Right. Like that, to me, that was like my favorite comic book writer cameo besides Stan Lee. Todd McFarlane had good ones.
I'm about to say Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane
like
Spawn.
Every
he
episode
said something, I can't
of
remember what he
fucking
said.
Spawn. Yeah,
I can't remember what he said, but yeah. Ed Brubaker was in Winter Soldier.
Was he?
Yeah, he was one of the doctors that was working on Winter. I think Winter Soldier even choked him out or something.
Oh, I don't even know what he looks like.
He's like a dude.
A dude.
I mean, that's all I can say. He's just like a dude, just like unassuming, Like, everybody's not Stan Lee. Just like, let's look like, oh, you look like a comic writer. Like, nah, some guys just.
Well,
look
I mean,
like...
Stan Lee would he was up in front. He, we all knew who he was.
Yeah, like I said, he created a character, basically, where everybody else was just people, So that's all I can say about that. Overall, I'm gonna give the Crisis. I'm gonna rate it. Oh, there is one thing I do want to say about episode 5 of Crisis. Episode 5 of Crisis went completely Legends. Now, what I mean by Legends, like Legends Tomorrow. Legends Tomorrow was the most like wonky, offbeat, insane DC show they have, which is why it's the best, because they just do insane shit. So they had to fight Bebo. Now, Bebo is actually like a doll that they have. Is like their version of Teddy Ruxpin, like that. But something happened where some timey-wimey bullshit happened where Bebo was teleported back to the Viking Age. And when they saw Talking Doll, they started worshiping it as the god of war. So it actually affected our timeline where we stopped worshiping Christmas and Jesus Christ and start worshiping that doll Bebo. So they had to go back in time to change the time so we wouldn't worship a talking doll again. And they had to fight that doll in this show, which I thought that's the weirdest fucking shit, but I love it. I'm glad it's here. Overall, give it I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 because they really put some hard work into it. Look, Crisis on Infinite Earths is the most epic comic book story of all time. Period. I don't even think you can top it. You can try. There's been some attempts. You know, Jonathan Hickman, all the shit he's doing, there's been some attempts, but nobody has ever actually topped Crisis, and I don't think you can top it. DC has been trying to top it for decades with Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, and Crisis, and whatever. Can't top it. So, but they're doing it on a TV budget. So it's only so much they can do. But for what they pulled off, some things you're like, you could have did better. Some things I was like, damn, you did pretty good for what you had, you know. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. Can't give it a 5. Somebody asked me today, like, hadn't seen, like, have you seen Crisis? What's better, that or Endgame? I'm like, look, stop. Like, come on.
Just tell him Crisis just to piss him off.
Right.
Just say Crisis. I'm gonna post that tomorrow.
No, don't do it. Don't do it, because you know if you do it, it's gonna start a shitstorm.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Oh man, you're gonna post it and hadn't even seen it just to watch just to troll people.
And get kicked out of another group and shit.
Because somebody's gonna agree with you just to fuck with people. No. Because we're not allowed to say Endgame is a good movie anymore. That's the thing. That's why people are gonna agree with you. I told you Endgame was shit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Or just say Batman and Ninja Turtles was the best comic book movie of last year. Better than Endgame.
Anytime you say anything's better than Endgame, people are gonna agree with it, because now Scorsese has made it open season on Endgame. You're not allowed to like Marvel movies anymore. So.
Oh, you are. According to every comic book website, yeah.
Yeah, how dare you blaspheme? Remember that shit they said, like, Bob Iger called Martin Scorsese into his office or some shit?
Yeah.
They had a conversation about, his comments.
Everyone thought it was like he was gonna like fire Martin Scorsese from a job he doesn't even have with Disney.
Martin
when it turned, all that actually, you know what that meeting was about?
What was it about?
Whatever movies that he had at Fox.
Yeah.
It was about that. It was about the rights to his movies at Fox.
Oh, that's what the fuck, man? So that's what it was about?
Yeah, that's what it was about. Because Disney owns Fox now. And, well, now you have...
No, it's not Fox anymore.
Or whatever, yeah. Or 20th Century Mouse or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah. That's what that was about. That's what the meeting was about. Everyone thought, Martin Scorsese.
But the way they wrote the story, that's what made it sound like. You know, like next report you're gonna read, Martin Scorsese committed suicide with 2 bullets in the back of his head. You know?
Yeah. They calm the fuck down.
Oh man. Well, one thing we're gonna talk about before we move on there. Let's talk about this Watchmen thing. Okay.
Yeah.
We were like I said, this news broke because, like I said, season 1 ended. And now HBO saw how much money the series made and how much, social media attention they got with it. They were like, we want a season 2. And the season writer and the show writer, Lindelof, I think his name is.
Yeah, Damon,
Yeah. Put his foot down, walked away from it, said, no, I'm not doing it. You know, what's that saying? What's the saying? Warsack said, the HBO executives will say, save us. And I whisper, no. I completely fucked that line up, but you know what I meant when I was going with that. So he walked away from the show. There will not be a season 2 of Watchmen. And Eli, everybody on the social media and the internet were sad except us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were the only ones that weren't sad about it.
Gomer too. He was like cool.
Yeah, but he actually was a cool with it. He was actually cool with it. Even though Gomer hates everything. He says he doesn't hate everything, but he does hate everything. So. Yeah. So anytime he likes something, that means it's really good. But yeah, the funny thing is, like, everybody else was happy. And and the funny thing about it, people that hadn't watched the show, they were like, good. I'm glad Wokeman isn't coming back. Fuck that show. Hadn't watched half of the first episode or some shit, But the funny thing is, we were happy not because it's a bad show, but because it's a really good show. Matter of fact, this show was so good, it doesn't need another season.
No.
Because the only thing they can do is fuck it up. It needs to be a one and done season. People keep asking, but what about the ending? What is going to happen at the end scene? I want to know what happened. Don't worry about what happened. Whatever you want to think happened, that's what happened.
That's the fucking point, is not knowing and discussing. That's the point. Yeah, we don't need everything over explained. It doesn't have to be a fucking soap opera.
Everybody wants everything spoon fed to them.
Yeah, because nobody can fucking think for themselves anymore. They need everything fucking, handed to them on a silver platter, told how to think, how to feel. Unpopular opinion. Now no. Seriously. I'm gonna piss everybody off right now.
Oh,
and I don't
shit.
fucking
I feel
care.
like I'm gonna be one of those people you pissed off, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't fucking care. I've been sitting in this fucking house with a bum fucking hip in pain for 2 fucking weeks.
Now, see, Eli, this is the rant I
I
wanted
gotta
last
let
week.
some steam
Let
off.
loose. The dog is off the leash. Go for it.
I'm gonna let some. I watched Endgame.
Oh, shit. Here we go. And here we go.
Never rub another man's room. So, when Tony Stark dies at the end,
Mm-hmm.
they milk the fuck out of it for like the last half hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
He dies, and then there's that montage, and then he starts talking. He starts saying, you hear Tony Stark talking some shit while everybody's mourning his death.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it this last time around, I'm like, he don't need to talk. Take out that fucking narration. Put a fucking song over that shit, and we would get the same fucking effect. Put over one of the classic rock songs put over an AC/DC song. In fact, I'm going to pick that AC/DC song. It's called Ride On. AC/DC, Ride On. Play that song over the montage of everybody fucking mourning Tony Stark's death, and we would all get the same fucking emotional feel instead of Tony Stark telling us how to fucking feel.
I agree with you.
And that fucking song would have become classic. Or whatever.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with your
Simple
thought.
Man. Leonard Skinner, Simple Man. Same thing. Whatever. Some classic 70s rock jam. Put it over that rock ballad, over that whole sequence. That song would instantly become a classic because everybody from this generation would define that song as the Tony Stark funeral fucking song.
Yep. Just like I Love You 3000.
And that's, yes. And that's cinema right there. That's without being so. And I know comic book fans and comic books, their dialogue is so required for exposition. Mm-hmm. It's that's how the stories are explained. Comic books are a 2-dimensional medium. It's just flat images. Mm-hmm. And you need those words to explain the story. Whereas film is another medium. You can do moving images and audio, but audio, it doesn't have to be dialogue all the time. It could be music. It could be no music, mm-hmm. But you can convey that emotion without being told how to feel. And that's what I felt that scene was doing because, I admitted, I cried every time I saw the new Star Wars. I cried every fucking time, mm-hmm. I don't know why, but I only cried once the first time seeing Endgame. And it's like the second time around, okay, now they're really milking it. And part of it is because he talks and tells the audience what to feel, how to think.
Because he's telling the audience is going to be okay.
Yeah, basically.
But here's the problem with that, Eli. What you're suggesting is too effective. That's the problem.
And what's wrong with that? That's too good.
Right.
That's too artsy, but this is a movie. This is a film. This is film. This is a different medium. We don't need to rely on the dialogue to convey that emotion. Because you know what gets me? The two scenes that get me in that, it's seeing Ned and Peter hug and the cheeseburger line. Those are the two scenes that got me. That got me misty-eyed. It wasn't Tony Stark, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it's sad. I'm dead. Everybody cry for me, Argentina. And
they were even going to take it a step further. They were going to a step further than that. They were going to actually, like when he snapped his fingers, he was going to the Soul Stone and meet his adult daughter.
Yeah.
And she was going to tell him it's going to be okay. No. Don't do that. That is a cop-out. We need to understand that he's making a sacrifice, and the sacrifice he's making is that he's leaving his wife and daughter and Peter Parker, his son, behind. We understand the weight of his sacrifice. And having his adult daughter, they're like, they should have left that scene in because dumbasses think that every single deleted scene should be in a movie. Like, no, that's not how it works. Some shit need to be deleted for a reason. So yes, having his daughter in there, spoon feeding the audience, saying we're gonna be okay. No, that shouldn't be it. And like you saying, Tony, and I actually agree with you on that. That Tony Stark telling the audience that it's gonna be okay, kind of undercuts the emotion that could have came from just music, because just letting music goes, it lets the audience fill in the blanks themselves.
Yeah.
And for some people that may be too much.
Yeah. And we could all take that personal journey as a collective audience, watching that same scene and what that character meant to us, what these movies meant to us on a personal level, instead of Tony Stark just telling us, you know what, be sad right now. Be sad for me. Be sad for blah, 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 blah. And I just thought, this time around, I'm like, it could have been better.
But the thing is, Marvel has.
That's what Scorsese would have done.
That's what Scorsese would have done, right? I agree with you on that one.
Bada bing.
That's the rant I wanted last week, but you said you were too sick and high to do that shit. So, but yeah, but like I said, the type of tone that these Marvel movies are going for, it wouldn't fit. I mean, like I said, they want you to feel good walking out of these movies. Where Endgame should have been super depressing like that, but it's like, how far can you bend? They bend but don't break. How far can you bend before you break?
It's like, people talking about the new Star Wars, about they should have shown all the Force ghosts at the end of the movie. Yeah, you're right. I think they just had time to fucking work on this shit, maybe they could have did that, but they rushed this shit out.
Okay, put a pin in that conversation. We're not gonna talk about it tonight, but we're gonna talk about the deleted scenes and the rewrite that they really had for Rise of Skywalker. We're not gonna do it this week.
Okay,
but we'll do it because that's way too much to talk about right now.
What we're talking about? Oh, Watchmen. No, don't do a season 2. It doesn't need to be over explained.
Right.
The point of Watchmen was to have us discuss and debate what happened. We don't need to know.
People don't want to do that anymore. People don't want to sit back and take a look at art and sit back and discuss and debate or interpret what they took from it.
Yeah,
they want everything spoon-fed. Just like with Crisis. I know I should not compare CW's Crisis with HBO's Watchmen.
No, fuck it. That's better. Crisis is better. I'm going to put it on tomorrow. Posting that shit tomorrow.
Crisis better than Endgame. Because the thing is with Crisis, like I said, they shoved so much shit into Crisis because they were trying to, borrow from 50 years worth of, DC material and lore. They didn't have time to over-explain everything. Like, for instance, like the spec, like, you know who Jim Corrigan is. Like I said, you reviewed the Detective Comic Books, whatever like that. He just popped up. I'm Jim Corrigan. Hey, I'm Spectre. Hey, you want to be the Spectre? Okay, boom. But it ain't over-explain this shit. But if you don't know, but they gave you enough details to kind of know who it is, but they didn't just go on a long rant about who this guy is, what this guy is, where this guy's from, shit like that. Some of this shit, you kind of got to know. If you read the source material, a lot of shit you'll just know from the top of your head. But if you don't know the source material, they're throwing so much shit at you in the Crisis. Some of this shit is going to go over your head like, wait, what happened? So they didn't spoon feed you with Crisis. Some of this shit you have to either come in with you, or they do explain it, but they just give you like a quick 1-minute sentence and then move on to something else because they got so much other plot lines they have to take on. Because, like I said, Crisis is a huge story that they have to cram into 5 episodes. So, yeah, Crisis is like Watchmen. So it's better. I agree with you. Better Endgame.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the Watchmen comic and the Watchmen show, they're both making a comment on the current times that they take place in. That's what the comic did. It made us question, the world back then. It made us question who has the right to govern and have that power to wield justice.
Right, and they don't beat you over the head with an answer.
Yeah, that's the purpose of the story. And this show, that's what it does. It's like, we're not supposed to know whether or not what's-her-face gets the power of Dr. Manhattan. Well, who has the power? It doesn't matter who has the power. We're just supposed to question, do they deserve that power?
Right.
Who deserves that power? If anyone deserves that power. That's what we're supposed to be talking about, and that's the point. And we don't need to know if she gets it or not. And then, okay, in this episode, she's God now, and this is what she's going to do with that power. What does this fucking matter?
Right, but they want to over-explain.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, having a self-contained story, like I said, the season 1 of Watchmen, or the original graphic novel of the Watchmen, I'm gonna call it comic, fuck graphic novel term. Okay, so like I said, they were self-contained, and that's why we could sit back and look at these works of art, or even like the original Star Wars trilogy when it first came out. It was 3 movies, works of art. We look back at it. It wasn't another movie for like 16 years or shit like that. We sat back and studied and took apart every single frame of those movies. The Watchmen, they have spent so many like think pieces and discussions about that comic. The same thing with this TV show right now. Now, let's say that they kept the shit going. Let's say this is a comic book going, and we were celebrating the 500th issue of Watchmen right now. You know, it wouldn't, the first 12 issues wouldn't be a special. It would just be some other shit.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with the TV show. If they kept it going and we go to like season 5 or season 6, it would be special. Like The Flash, for instance. Like I named The Flash one of my favorite like TV shows of last decade, mainly because of that first season. Where we're on what, season 6 now, some shit like that.
Yeah.
That shit is nowhere near as good as it used to be, like.
No,
So it's
because that first
the
season had so much. You know, it was so much about who he was and his relationships to his family and his mom. That episode where he meets his mom and you know, and what's his face, the grandson of Fawn,
right?
Fucking kills himself at the end. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, that was one of the most shocking moments
He could
in
have
TV history for me.
and still killed him, but you know. Whatever.
But still, I mean, when that was like, oh shit, you know, yeah.
But now you look at the whole body of work, and Flash doesn't seem as special as it used to, you know, back in 2014. And it'd be the same way if we did like a season 5 of Watchmen, or we on the 600, 700 issue of Watchmen. Look at X-Men. X-Men used to be the shit in the 90s. I know you didn't give a fuck, but everybody else did. But now, like I said, now in like the 2000s and the 2010s, people are like, I don't give a fuck about the X-Men anymore, because they kept just cranking this shit out. And now Jubilee's a vampire and Dazzlers or whatever the fuck, and you know,
Wolverine,
shit, you know.
Cyclops, and Jean Grey are all swingers now.
Right. It's just like, what the
living
fuck?
in the same house. And
you know, like some shit you just need to be just that and that's it and move on like that. Honestly, I think that's one reason why anime and manga are more popular right now than comics. And
yeah, because they're one and done. Yeah,
they're one and done. They'll be like an anime show that come in 25 episodes, 15 episodes, done. That's it. They never revisit again. That's it. In a beginning, middle, and end, and that's it. Like that, where American works just keep going and going and going. Like let's name the CW show. Like I said, how many episodes was Watchmen? Like 10 episodes? Right.
Not even 9?
8, 9,
8
something
or
like that.
9?
Every CW show or every show that's on network TV right now, like 25, 26 seasons every single year. Eventually, the shows get diluted because it's too much stuff.
Yeah.
Because you run out of shit to say eventually, even in one season. So, like I said, I don't know. That's my thing. Yeah, you get to the point now where they're doing these shows like Arrow. Arrow's last season, like the first season of Arrow last year was awesome because he was in jail and they did that unadapted Supermax screenplay. They did it on screen. Like those first 8 episodes was awesome. But then they ran out of shit to talk about. Okay, we can't just leave him in jail for 2 years. So now he's in jail. Now he's got to do some other bullshit. Now he's fighting assassins and his sister came back from the dead that he never knew about and shit like that. And nobody gives a fuck about that shit.
Yeah, he had a daughter. Like I'm watching the Crisis that he had a daughter all of a sudden. I'm like, what the fuck?
She's from the future that the never mind. That's what I'm saying. It just throws shit at you. You know, you have to interpret it, Eli. But that's my whole point. Can we move on past that? I know we went long about the Watchmen. I can't remember what we're talking about, but yeah, let's move past that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the video game section. We're gonna talk about the video games, and I actually got some shit to talk about this week because other shit I had nothing to say, but this time I do. So sad news, Eli. We have some delays on some games. Okay, so the games that we delay, I don't have the news in front of me right now, but Final Fantasy VII Remake was supposed to come out, I think, in like May or April, something like that. It's got pushed back, so it's not coming out when it's supposed to. That Avengers game that we saw.
I heard about this.
It got pushed back. It was supposed to come out like in March or May or some shit like that. It got pushed all the way back to September. You know, I want to play this shit, Eli. Damn it.
I was actually looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was like, fuck. I was saving money now to play that game. So now I don't have shit to do. So, and then another game that was supposed to be the game of the year this year, it's supposed to be Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
That's the game that, you know, Keanu Reeves supposed to be in.
Yeah, my kid was looking forward to that.
So that's supposed to be like the game of the year. They were working on this game for like forever, and that is supposed to be the game supposed to come out. I think the same guys to make Witcher. I think, or whatever. So that game's supposed to come out, but now that got pushed back also. That's supposed to come out sometime like May or something like that. So all these games pushed back. So now I have nothing to play in like March or April, shit like that. So fuck it, I'll just keep going. I will say the game I have been playing lately, Eli, is Devil May Cry 5. I finally started playing it.
Okay.
Holy shit, that game is great.
Yeah,
you told me that.
Yeah, I've always liked those games. Those games are fun.
I know, but this game feels like it's a step better than the other ones for me.
Yeah, and you can switch the characters. That's what I liked about it too. You can switch the characters and shit.
Like the movement and the camera and the holy shit, the graphics are like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And just the shit you could do on the game like that. So yeah, I know a lot of people saying that game should have won Game of the Year, but it didn't win Game of the Year. But it might have been my Game of the Year. Because the funny thing is, like when I played Fallen Order, like that Star Wars Fallen Order game, I played it. Now like it's fun, but then there's something that became a lull in it. With Devil May Cry, I put the shit down like, fuck, I can play this shit again. It's a difference,
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, those games are fun.
It's fun. That's the thing. Like, games can be fun. Everything that had to be The Last of Us, where it's a cinematic movie trying to, win an Oscar or some shit like that. It's okay for games to be fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got to go finally. I get a gun with 2 bullets left.
Right. Or you get to the end. Now a cutscene comes, and the cutscene is so long that you just put the controller down, you just go get some popcorn and some shit like that, and your controller dies and shit can be sitting there for long. Like, come on, man. I spent my money to play a game, not to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say this shit, even though the new game just came out called Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, where it's just basically just Dragon Ball Z cutscenes. But I'm gonna buy it anyway, Eli, because I want that shit. I'm a sucker. It's easy to get my money. That being said, we can move on to the next part of the podcast.
Sure.
Okay, so this is the Comic Book Bullies, where we talk about comic books, and we're going to jump into it and talk about the comic books. And there is no X-Men this week. Thank Rao. No X-Men books. So we can talk about some other comic books that came out this week. And I'll be honest with you, this was a shit week.
Yeah, it's quite light.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. They really don't care about January or anything. I guess it's like the lull month. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay, the book I'm gonna start off with is Legion of Superheroes number. Shit, what number am I on? Let me see.
You read past the first issue, I take it.
I read the first issue, and I don't know what book this is. What the fuck? 3 issue. Legion
is
of
it
Superheroes
3
number
now?
3. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I read the first one, I didn't read the second one, and now I'm reading the third one. Written by Brian Michael Bendis, So basically, the book, I'm trying to remember what happened because there's so much shit, and they got these weird ass names in this book. Okay, so basically, Aquaman's trident has been stolen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, actually, the Legion, something happened in the second issue. So now they have the trident now. They go to some other world to talk to this guy named General Na or Crab or some bullshit, whatever like that. His son is one of the Legions, and he don't like the Legions, anything like that. He like, you betrayed us by joining the Legion. It's like that. But the reason they talk to him because they want to find out more information about Aquaman's staff. Because Aquaman's staff is like about to destroy the universe and shit like that, but they don't know why. They're trying to find out more information on why they're trying to do that. He don't appreciate them having to coming up to him, accuse him of anything. So he just started beating the shit out of the Legion. They eventually subdue him, and Monel, one of the Legion guys, he knocks him the fuck out. And then one of the dudes of their planet just say, "Oh, well, you're our king now because you knocked out our king." Like whatever. So they take him back. Meanwhile, the shit that we really care about, the main story, Jonathan Kent is here. He's been kidnapped by the Legion or been brought to the 31st century for some reason, and he's like, you know what? I want to be here alone. I'm gonna go get my best friend. So he goes back to the past or the present. Gets his best friend, brings to the future. Boom, Damian Wayne is now in the 31st century also. He's like, oh, this shit is pretty cool. Yeah, like cool. They're just walking around and shit like that while they bring this guy back, that evil general like that. They bring him back to the main Citadel portion of the Legion of Superheroes. He breaks out again, start beating shit out of Legion again, and this time Jonathan Kent knocks his ass out. He's like, okay, you're done. Monel's is like, well, I knocked him out first, and so they can have some kind of tension. But I think I don't know their history or anything like that, but I think Monel might be a descendant of Jonathan or whatever. I don't know. Monel, yeah.
He's an L, right?
I guess, yeah. But he's like I said, I don't know this shit. I guess because you never remember DC reboot shit so much, so he might have been at one time. Then he's rebooted to be.
But he's Kryptonian, right?
I don't think so, or he might be. It depends
We
on.
just said he's related to Jonathan.
Well, they hinted at he might relate to Jonathan.
Well, it's Al though, right?
Yeah, because I think here's the thing. Like
I didn't even read this shit.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't
saying
care.
Mon-El is like a character made back in the '60s or some shit. Originally, yes, he was a descendant of Superman's. But then they changed it post Crisis, where he's actually like from another planet, but the same planet has the same powers as Kryptonians, but they have different weaknesses. So the Kryptonites like lead or some shit like that.
Oh wait, was this on Supergirl?
Yes, same guy.
Okay, yeah, this sounds familiar.
Yeah, same guy. But like I said, it's Bendis. He didn't give a shit about post Crisis. He did what the fuck he wants to. So he might have rebooted the reboot to change it back to where it was back in the '60s, where he might be a descendant of Superman / Jonathan Kent. But like I said, they hinted at it. They didn't just come out and just say it. They just said he might be and then they got cut off because they started looking at Damian Wayne. And everybody saw Damian Wayne and started freaking the fuck out, like, oh shit, what the fuck is he doing? He has to get the fuck out of here. And John's like, wait, what? Why y'all so scared of him? Like, he can't be here. He's like, first off, I want to know one thing. Why is it with all these 1,000 superheroes I have here, there is no bat-themed character among any of you? What the hell is going on here? Why are y'all so scared of him? Because if he's not allowed to be here, maybe I shouldn't be here either. And then before he can even start talking, Saturn Girl, who got her psychic powers, blinks out Damian Wayne's mind, so he didn't even remember even coming here, and she teleports him back to Gotham City back in the past. And she was like, okay, what the hell is going on? Superboy, that's what we've been trying to tell you. There's a reason why there are no bat people here in the 31st century. And there's a reason why I didn't want Damian Wayne here, and there's a reason why you have to be here. Let's go to the orientation we've been trying to tell you since the first issue. So they go. So they go, and then somebody makes a joke about Damian Wayne calling him Baby Hitler. I think Brainiac did it. They're like, don't call him Baby Hitler. They're like, well, he might not even be the same one. This might be an alternate reality version of Damian. He might not do it. Some other bullshit happens at the end, but that's it. So anyway, this book is so fucking confusing because everybody keep popping up. It's like about these books have like 1,000 heroes in them. They all got name tags and shit because you keep forgetting who they are. Colossal Boy, Ultra Boy, something boy, Lightning Lad. I think he's like the descendant of Black Lightning or some shit. I don't know who the fuck these people are, So, but here's what I'm thinking. Okay, so apparently Damian Wayne is supposed to be like grows up to be some kind of like evil asshole or some shit like that. And I'm wondering if they're tying that back into Grant Morrison's run. Because in Grant Morrison's run in Batman 666, that's the real book. That's the issue number 666. Batman either has a fever dream or he actually sees through the future of Damian Wayne as an adult who becomes Batman. But he wants to be a better Batman than Bruce ever was, so he makes a deal with the devil. So he can't be killed. So he just walks up on criminals like that. They shoot him. He can't be killed. He's immortal. He dies. And he just shoots him in the fucking face every time he sees him. I think he got like hellfire power or some shit like that or whatever the fuck. So I'm thinking, are they trying to tie all this shit together? But I know they didn't because Bendis doesn't read other people's work. So I doubt that's happening. So anyway, book it 3 out of 5 out of 5. No, not 3 out of 5, just 3. It's fucking 3. 2.5 out of 5. I'm giving 2.5 out of 5 because Damian is on the cover of this book. It's the #1 selling book this week, and Damian is barely even in it. And then leaves after when they keep talking about some other bullshit that I ain't even heard of. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5. Bendis fucking up again. Shoving legions down my throat. False advertisement. So yeah, fuck this book, man. I'm gonna let you go.
All right. Well, since I barely read anything too, but since we're on DC, I guess I'll do the question.
Okay.
Number 2,
Vic Sage.
Vic Sage, yep. Black Label, written by some guy named Jeffrey Lee Meyer.
Oh yeah, Comic Cast, they're really gonna shit on us now. How dare you besmirch, you blasphemers.
So this is just weird. I mean, the last issue, the question, he like went into this, was it he found this mask and then he put it on and it took him to like this other time period.
Oh, I know, I didn't read this shit.
And so this book takes place back in the Old West.
Okay.
So, and it's Victor Zsasz.
What?
Yeah. And Victor Zsasz is an asshole who like kills Indians and, he's got a dark, the darkened heart and all this shit because he's a prick, comes to this old West town, saves a black guy from being hung, and then the posse that are after him, and then some native. I think she's supposed to be native. She's in buckskin and she's got bows and arrows and shit, but she's got like red hair. I don't know if
Red Wolf, the wolf version.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. She's got red hair.
I don't know. Just make some shit up. I don't know.
Not many redheaded, natives I've seen around, but okay. And then she's got a bow and arrow, of course. Everybody else got guns, but she's got a bow and arrow and shit. And she tells Vic Sage that some guy named Charlie's supposed to kill the devil. And then it flashes back at the end. It flashes back to the 40s or whatever, where it takes place, and Vic Sage is going like, what the fuck's happening? So I don't know if we're going through all these different lives of Vic Sage, like the many deaths of Vic Sage, but it's just weird. I'm just wondering. It's not a bad book. I mean, it was an interesting story. Old West tale, basically. It's funny because I've been watching Westerns all weekend.
Yeah, so, you said that Unforgiven and Django Unchained. Shit.
Yeah, I was watching Tombstone and Revenant and Outlaw Josie Wales and shit. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not a bad story. It's just I'm just wondering what the fuck's happening. Basically, I don't know what's going on. So I give it a 3 out of 5.
What?
I mean, the art's
a 3 out of 5 for the Holy Writ of Jeff Lemire?
I just don't know what's happening. That's all. I mean, it's just like
we're gonna listen to Comic Cast. They're gonna spoon feed this shit to us. We don't want interpretations.
Yeah, well, they liked it. I listened to it today. I was.
They already gave, what they gave it, 6.5 out of 5 or what?
Whoever I don't know if everybody read it, but I know Gomer liked it, and
they don't have to read it to like it.
But no, I just don't. I mean, it's not bad. I just don't know what's happening. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell? It's just flashbacks. Like this is just an old West tale in this one. So I don't know. So yeah, 3. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Oh,
the art's
there
really
you go.
good.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, Sienkiewicz is doing the art. Sienkiewicz did like the colors and shit.
Dennis Cowan drew it. I knew that. One of the originators, creators of Milestone. So
yeah, art's really good. Art's really good. So yeah. Right. Question number 2.
Ooh, all right. I guess. Not number. Okay, next book I'm gonna do is Valkryie number 7. So
okay,
I'm really liking this book, like this series. Eli, people are really sleeping on this book. They really need to pay attention to Valkryie. It's one of my favorite Marvel books. Okay, all right. So like I said, so what's going on in this book? This is part 2 of some other arc that's going on right now. So apparently, Death is dying. Like Lady Death is dying. And she's being killed by the Death of Death. Now, the Death of Death looks like the Living Tribunal, but with a skull face. So, and they basically have gone into the body of Death, but it's all metaphorical. It's all metaphysical. So because Death doesn't have a body, so there's like a metaphor. They're in Death's body, and they're fighting toxins or white blood cells, but they're really just defending Death to stop people from coming. But eventually get to the point where nobody's stopping them from entering the body of Death. So obviously, they mean Death is so weak that Death can't even defend itself. So if Death kills itself, so if Death of Death kills Death, there'll be no more Death. So they eventually make it to the ferryman named Charon. Now Charon, I may be saying his name right, but Charon in Greek mythology is the boat ferryman that takes living souls and carry their souls to the land of the dead. I'm not smart. This was one of the missions on God of War 3. So that's where I got this shit from. But he's not floating on like a river of blood or river of fire or anything like that. He's floating on a river of pus, like mucus. So apparently that's the infection.
Heck.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the infection that Death is having right now. So I forgot to tell you, like Valkryie is not by herself. She's actually formed a team of superhero doctors. It's like Doctor Strange and Cardiac, who's an old Spider-Man villain, and some other people I've never heard of before. But anyway, they're here to heal Death. So they finally get to the place where they're supposed to go. Excuse me. And when they finally get there, they see this painting. Valkryie sees this painting. Jane Foster sees this painting, and the painting is a picture of a fiery car in a fiery, car crash. And she just starts crying all of a sudden. Dr. Strange like, what's going on, Jane? What's going on? Like, I know what this painting is. My ex-husband came to pick up my son one weekend because I had to work. And when he picked them up, they went in a car crash. It caught on fire, and that's what I'm looking at right now. That's the day my ex-husband and my son died. I was like, oh, shit. But the thing is, all of the other doctors see different things. Basically, like their most tragic experience with death or like a loved one, thing like that, that's what they see, in that painting. Dr. Strange says he didn't see anything, but while he's doing it, Cardiac shoots him in the back of the head. But not hurts him, it just stuns him and shit like that. And Jane Foster's like, what the fuck are you doing? Cardiac's like, well, first off, you just saw the most horrific shit you ever went through in your life. You just saw your family and friends just die. But if we stop what we're doing, none of this will happen. Like, we have to go save death. We have to stop death from dying. And Cardiac's like, look at the dumb shit you're saying. We have to stop death from dying. That doesn't even make any damn sense. If we just don't do anything, all our loved ones will come back to life. Over here, you talk stupid. So she beat the shit out of Cardiac, or she like that, and she just walks through the door. When she walks through the door, she sees Lady Death on her deathbed. Like it's all metaphorical, with the death of death standing over her, and the death of death is looking at Jane Foster just like, okay, here's your chance to make a speech on why I should save her. Because first off, she hasn't been doing her job. He holds up this green door because first off, the Hulk, every time something happens to him, he just walks through the green door and nothing happens. Then he holds up his left hand. And then I got this bubble over here where the X-Men can just clone themselves to come back to life anytime they fucking feel like it. So death doesn't even exist anymore in here. So since she's not doing her job, why should I even save her? And Jane Foster's like, like, I'm waiting. Give me an answer. She's like, because if there's no more death, then there's no meaning to life. He's like, that's a good reason. Okay, bye. That's it. Death comes back to life. Death is like, thank you, Jane Foster, for saving me. You gave him a good excuse for him not to kill me. But do you really believe that? She's like, it doesn't matter what I believe, boss. And then she walks back to the door, and she goes back to the hospital where they first met at. Everybody drinking coffee. They've been there for a while. They're like, Jane, where you been? We didn't know if you were alive or dead or whatever like that. But did we win? She's like, well, I saved death, and we didn't lose. But did we really win? And then it cuts back to a memory of hers where she sees the fiery car crash where her ex-husband and her son died, and death is just walking past. Like Lady Death is just walking past it. The end. Like, pretty cool story. So I left out a whole bunch of other stuff in there. It's a whole lot of metaphorical stuff in there with medicine. It's editorial about how death doesn't exist in Marvel and stuff. And, Jason Aaron really wrote this story, man. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I really like this one. Even though it's a slow week, like I said, I'm really loving this Valkryie story.
Cool.
Yeah.
What else did I do? Jessica Jones.
Okay.
So this is, I was bored, so I just checked this out. So Jessica Jones, an old client, winds up dead in her office, and she gets kind of, cops think she's done it, and turns out it was an old client of hers. Her boyfriend was abusing her, and she had hired her to find out if he was cheating on her, but she never got the proof, and then she sort of disappeared, and then all of a sudden she winds up dead in her office. Matt Murdock bails her out of jail. She goes back to her office to investigate, and she gets shot in the head, and that's end of the story, end of this issue. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? So kind of an intriguing, hard-boiled detective story. So we'll see how it goes. I give it a 4 out of 5. I was surprisingly into it.
Okay. I started to get it. Only thing about Jessica Jones is that it is Brian Michael Bendis' baby. Even though, like I said, we shit on Bendis all the time on here. But his Jessica Jones story is like really, really good. That's like what made Bendis. So having somebody else take over the character like Kelly Thompson made me like, no.
Yeah. It was fine. I mean, it was, her and Luke Cage they got a family and had moments with them together.
Oh yeah, little baby Danielle and all that.
Yeah. So I mean, I give it a 4 out of 5. I got into it. So
okay, cool. All right. So last book I got. Now I got to do a little backstory on this last book I got because this last book is kind of has an interesting backstory to it. This story is called Iron Man 2020.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing about the story. This is the backstory I'm talking about. This is actually a kind of like a remake or, I don't know, something like that of an older story. Because there was a story back in 1984 called Machine Man 2020 where he fought Iron Man 2020, and it was the Iron Man of the future, and the story and the Iron Man in that story was named Arnold Stark. But we're in the future, like right now. So Marvel has been actually building up this story because they wrote that story back in the 80s, I guess thinking the world was going to blow it before we got here, but now we're here, so they might well tell it Iron Man 2020. So they were telling a future story, but the story is now. So let's get into it. So Tony Stark is not in this book. This Iron Man of this book is Arnold Stark, like I said, back in the 80s. And he's here, and basically what happened is that, I'll get to it in a second what happened to Tony Stark. He wakes up, he's in Stark International. He owns everything now. It's all his shit. Apparently there's a robot revolution going on right now where all the robots in the Marvel universe have rised up and start attacking people. So he's just going around just from place to place, just, putting a stop to, robot, revolts and shit like that, and trying to find out who's like the main boss of them like that. And they don't tell him anything. Like one of them's, like he smashes one robot and then he tells the robot, tell me who's your leader. Like, fuck you, cosplayer. Like, even flips him off and shit like that, And then he talks to the news reporter, and the news reporter asks him, okay, you're Arnold Stark. I don't know who you are, but where is Tony Stark? And he tells him what happened to Tony Stark. Okay, remember when Captain Marvel and Tony Stark fought in Civil War II, and Tony Stark got really fucked up when it comes to something like that? He didn't get fucked up. He died. Captain Marvel killed him. So that Tony Stark that you've been seeing running around the whole time is actually a robot the whole time. He just downloaded his AI, that AI that been talking to Riri and shit like that. He downloaded that AI into that artificially made robot and been running around thinking he's Tony Stark. So y'all think it's Tony Stark, but he ain't been Tony Stark the whole time. So since Tony Stark is legally here dead and I'm his last living relative, all his shit is my shit. So I'm Iron Man. I own his business. I own his corporation. Blah, blah, all the stuff like that. And since he's a robot, when I find him, I'm going to kill him. As soon as I find him, So nobody has seen Tony Stark going on anywhere. Last time they saw him was at a liquor store, getting drunk and shit like that. And that he got a report on ZMT, not TMZ, but ZMT. And the reporter asked him, "Hey Tony, you off the wagon again? I guess the demon really is a bottle, huh?" I mean, fuck you. Flips him off and then just keeps walking. So they get into a raid and shit like that. And yeah. So the main bad guy of the story is Machine Smith, actually. Just like I said, Machine Smith was back in the 80s. He's the bad guy of this story. And Machine Smith is the one leading the robot revolution. And he's like, okay, y'all keep blowing up our shit and raiding our shit and blowing up our stuff because we're just because the robots are so advanced, they have like bars to themselves and stuff like that. And the police are like raiding those bars and blowing them up, shit like this. So like they say, y'all fuck with us so much, we're going to blow up one of your hospitals, So, and even so the police send in a robot drone, like, the robot drones they send in and like blow up shit, like, what Trump did, whatever.
Yeah.
So they send one of those robots in to like, you go in there and just fuck everybody up. But before the robot could do anything, Machine Smith just have a conversation with him. He like, you don't really want to blow us up, do you? He like, nah, you want to come with us, don't you? Yeah. All right, come on. I'm like, wait, what the fuck what you doing with our robot? What you doing with our drone? He works for us now. So they go in the elevator and they go up and Arnold Stark use his like sensors, like I can't sense them in here at all. What the fuck they went to? So they went in the elevator, and what they went to was the 13th floor. Now, we all know there is no 13th floor in any building. So they specifically made a 13th floor in this building to get away from Iron Man. And that's where all the robots meet and shit like that. Like every robot in Marvel you can think of, except Vision. Why isn't Vision there? I don't know. But every other robot is there. Even, remember Herbie from the Fantastic Four?
No, damn.
Yeah, he's there. Because in that last Empire book, that incoming book I read, he actually told Mr. Fantastic, "Fuck you, I'm out," and then he left. So that's where he ended up with these other robots, shit like that. And so that little drone robot, that the police drone robot, talks to Machine Smith. He's like, "So you run all this?" They're like, "No, I'm actually not the boss. I'm gonna introduce you to the boss. The boss name is actually Mark. Let's go talk to him." So, "Hey, Mark, how you doing?" So they walk into Mark, and you see it's Iron Man's original armor. Sitting there just chilling, just actually making holograms so nobody can see him. He like, "Is that Iron Man's armor?" He was like, "No, I'm the Mark 1 armor, but you can just call me Mark." you know. So he takes off his helmet, and it's Tony Stark, you know. And the robot asks him, "Are you Tony Stark?" He's like, "No, I'm not Tony Stark. I'm the idea of Tony Stark. I'm his original idea that he had in the cave to escape. So even though I'm not Tony Stark, I'm what got him out of Stark. I was birthed there in the cave. I am Iron Man, you know. And we're gonna rise up and we're gonna take back what's ours. Who's with me?" And every robot in the room says, "We're with you. Mark 1, Mark 1, Mark 1. Story ends. So boom. Weird story. I kind of like it. Kind of futuristic. There's even some notes in the back, because Dan Slott wrote this. There's even some notes in the back also that actually kind of remind me of I Am Legend. Not the Will Smith movie, the actual novel that was really
okay.
Good. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
It's actually the first zombie movie, first zombie book, if you want to go there. Because in that book, I Am Legend is basically about that the monsters look at the human as a monster.
Yeah.
And that's how this book is. Because in the book, all of the robots, like I said, like the robot drone and machine smith, all the robots in the book have personalities. The one character that doesn't have a personality is Arnold Stark. He's the human. So he's just this cold, calculating, you know, and he just goes around just destroying robots left and right. And everybody's like, damn, man, you have to do robots like that? Robots, who cares? You know, so he has no feelings, no emotions, no remorse, anything like that for these robots. So he's cold and emotionless. He's like a robot, but he's human. Meanwhile, the robots have more humanity than he does. So it's like I Am Legend. The humans, they have humanity, but the human has no humanity. So I kind of like where this story is going. It's got some, you know, subtleties.
He was the monster that was breaking into all the vampires and houses and killing them.
Exactly.
While they slept.
Exactly. Yeah. He's Will Smith.
Yeah.
Or Charlton Heston.
Price.
Or Vincent Price. Yeah. We keep going with that, yeah. But yeah. Overall, yeah, I'm gonna get this book a 4.5 out of 5. I'm glad there were no X-Men books, because if there were some X-Men books, I probably would have passed over this one. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I want to see where it goes, especially since Marvel put a lot of time in this to remaking a story, because Machine Man is actually like a Jack Kirby creation, you know. And there's some subtle Easter eggs. What's that guy's name? What's that artist's name? Windsor Smith, Brian. You know Windsor Smith? You know that guy?
No,
Byron, whatever. Byron was. He was like real popular in the 80s. Wrote all kind of shit. Wolverine, shit like that. Anyway, he drew the original Machine Smith book, and the hospital that Machine Smith was going to blow up was named after him, like the Win Smith Hospital, some shit like that. You know, just little nods like that. So they really put some time in this book, man. I like it when they take time for continuity. You know, so I'll give them points for that. Yes, that's all I got.
Yeah, all right. I don't think. What did I read something else I can't remember. I gotta get up then. Oh, okay. Grab my tablet.
I'm prepared.
Oh shit! What did I read? Yeah. Oh yeah, my meds are wearing off. Oh, okay. Oh, Hellboy. That's what I read.
Yeah, Hellboy did come out. Yeah, I started to get that.
I read that. That was it's the winter special, so it was like 3 stories, 3 different tales. You know, only one of them had Hellboy in it, but 3 different tales from the Hellboy universe.
I mean, at this point, Hellboy's kind of like a shared universe anyway.
Yeah, it was fun for what it was. Nothing great, nothing mind blowing. The one with Hellboy, he fights this ghost, or doesn't really fight him, but goes into a haunted house and, you know, finds a ghost. There's one where it's kind of like a murder mystery, and there's like a monster in it that looks like the Wendigo, like the real Wendigo, the scary Wendigo, not the Marvel furry ape that they, you know,
killer teddy bear,
yeah, the big white teddy bear, but the actual, you know, scary looking Wendigo. And then there's another one with takes place in the Crusades, and they're fighting a beast, and there's a cool twist at the end. It was fine. It's 3 out of 5. Nothing spectacular, but it was just a three one-shot stories. You know, short stories. You know, standalone tales. You know, just for new readers. You know, getting into Hellboy, just, you know, they can stand on their own. So, yeah, 3 out of 5.
Nice. Okay. Shoot. Any other books we got?
That's all I got.
All right. Cool. Like I said, we got this in the books. Hopefully everything went smoothly this time. We get this shit together in 2020. If you listen this long, definitely like, share, and subscribe. Definitely listen to our other podcasts. We have Geek Sap, our sister podcast. We have Comic Cast. Like I said, we shitted on Question. Actually, Eli shit on Question. They're gonna love
I
it.
didn't really shit on it.
You gave it a
I was
3 out of-
indifferent to it.
Oh no! You better not Ryan Gomer me.
Indifferent.
Right. Okay, so definitely listen to Comic Cast, listen to books that they review. Also listen to Get Valiant, listen to Hoodoo TV, Wrestling Council, Talking Balls. It's done. You don't have to listen anymore.
Really done, because Tennessee lost, man.
Yep, they're done. And 2 weeks from now, we're getting the Super Bowl. I guess I have to give a shit. Somebody won the day. I don't know. I was kind of halfway paying attention. I don't know.
Yeah. The Packers lost. That's all I give a shit about. The Packers lost.
All I know is that somebody's team won that is throwing a party 2 weeks from now. So that's all I care about. You're like, my team won. You can come to the party. I'm like, cool. Okay. I'll bring some beer or whatever. So, Instrument Instruction. Listen to Instrument Instruction. And this Geeks and Comics. They recorded another one. Listen to them. Check them out. See what's going on. And we'll come back with another episode next week. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. We'll figure it out. Hopefully some better books happen. More X books that's happen. Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Same bully time, same bully channel.